This bot just helped a trio win the FNCS Showdown in Europe and take home $9,000 this week. And why? Because it gives you the Forecast perk. If you're wondering where to find this bot, it's located right next to Brutal Boxcars. Forecast lets you see where the next zone is going to close, and that's a huge advantage, especially if you're a trio that consistently makes it to the late game. Just like Nefreezy, Wheat, and Alusha did in this tournament, winning $9,000. But Jerks, how is it even possible to get that much of an advantage just from having Forecast? Well, let me show you a few games so you can actually see how it works. After landing and finishing your looting path, you can already start moving toward the bot. And on the way, maybe get some surge from players around the area. But remember, you're not the only one interested in this bot. A lot of players will be going for it too. Once you get there, just box up the bot and buy the Forecast perk for 200 gold. That's it. Now you just have to wait and see where the next zone is. Once it shows up, mark it. Either the center or the edge, depending on your plan. Now you'll be able to see the first zone and plan your early rotation perfectly. Now, besides just playing the game, the key is to pay attention every few seconds before the zone closes. As soon as the next zone appears, you need to mark it again. Why? Because this lets you start planning your next rotation. You can rotate early, or late, or even wait a bit. It all depends on what you want to do, and what kind of position you're aiming for. Alright, now we're getting a bit closer to the late game. And here's where you'll see a really important play using Forecast. They're not just in a good spot by luck, they have Forecast so they can choose that strong position ahead of time. But what's really interesting is the rotation they make next. If they didn't have Forecast, this move would look like a mistake. But with it, it's actually smart and clean. So what's the idea here? It's all about rotating to the next zone before anyone else. They rotate through the dead side, using the info from Forecast to move early while the zone is still opening. This way, they take almost no damage and avoid most of the trios around. Now that you're already close to zone, this is when you can start looking for height. Of course, it depends on how the zones have been pulling, but in general, if you have Forecast, you should be able to go for height in most games. And as we can see here, because they've been rotating through the death side, they avoid running into all the stacked players who now have to rotate late. That area is complete chaos, and a lot of players are going down. This is the real advantage of Forecast, being able to position earlier than anyone else. And now it's just a matter of rotating to every new zone as soon as it shows. But Jerks, what can I do if I can't get height? What if the zone pulls weird and I just can't secure it? Well, let me explain you. After getting surge around your spot and going directly to the bot, building around, like for example boxing the bot properly, making sure you're fully protected so no one can shoot at you or pressure you while you're interacting with the bot, you might run into this situation. As the zones start closing, you can't always position yourself in the best way. Other players will already be waiting, and most likely you'll run into multiple trios trying to hold you. On top of that, height is probably already taken by someone else. So what can you do? First, try to position yourself close to where the next zone is going to close. But be very careful when getting there. A lot of trios might be around, so you need to watch every angle when you rotate. As we can see here, Nefreezy is setting up close to where the zone will close, blocking off any possible angles where players might shoot from. Once you're in position, now it's just a matter of waiting for the next zone to pop up. And once the zone appears, that's when you can start thinking about both your rotation and your positioning. You can start thinking, for example, about how to get a good rotation. But keep this in mind, don't rush it. If you're already in a good spot and rotating would put you at risk of taking a lot of damage, it's sometimes better to wait. Just like Nefreezy's trio did. They held their position and waited for the next zone to appear before moving, which helped them rotate safely and secure a much better spot without taking unnecessary damage. So be smart with this. Don't risk your game for a bad rotation. And as we can see now, once we know where the zone is closing, we can instantly use Splash to start the rotate. But of course, you still need to be very careful of your surroundings. From there, it's all about heading straight to the next zone and locking in a comfortable and advantageous position before the chaos begins. In games like this, you're not always going to be able to claim height, but what you can do is play with that Forecast advantage. Even if something goes wrong and one of your trio ends up getting eliminated, you've still managed to get a strong position, use the zone info, and secure a solid top placement. That alone makes a huge difference. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you soon.
I will never let you down. Why don't you stay where the sunlight shimmers? I'll show you the